Joe Hopkins here, and I thought today I would tell you a little humorous story about something that happened to me the other day at work. Because I have a day job, you know. I go to work in my day job. For any of you guys who are newer to my channel or don't know, in my day job, I am a corrections officer. That means I work in a prison. I'm a guard, right? I don't look like the type, right? But I am, and that's my job. I've been doing it a long time, you know. It's not always what you would think. But the other day, I'm at work, and you know, we got gangs. Like most prisons, we got gangs. We got Bloods, we got Crips, we got BGF, and we got MS-13, right? And you got these MS-13 guys, a bunch of Latinos covered in tattoos, real badass guys, right? And the other day, this guy, let's call him Juan. Juan's a pretty generic name, right? I don't want to use people's real names. for the safety and security of me, no, I'm not that worried about it. It's just, this is funny, right? So it's Juan's birthday. It's his birthday. He's celebrating. Him and all his homeboys are down there drinking a bunch of prison hooch, right? They make wine. We all know that. They're not supposed to, but all right, they do, and it's kind of hard to control. So whatever. Anyway, they're getting drunk. They're getting drunk, and Juan is making tamales. Yes, it's amazing what you can do with a microwave and ingredients from the commissary in the kitchen. So he's making these tamales. He's over at the microwave. He's been making them the whole shift, right? Down there making tamales. We get a little bit more than halfway through the shift when it's time for everybody to go in. So they open the doors, announce end of rec, right? You know, rec's over, everybody go in. And the MS-13 guys, they just stay in the rec hall. Not terribly uncommon, but then, you know, you go over there, they're all drunked up. I already know they're celebrating. So I go in there, I'm like, hey guys, it's time to go in, right? And Juan's over there by the microwave. His buddy's over there in the corner, like, yeah, just grin on his face, leaned up against the wall, like, he's out, right? So Juan, he's over there by the microwave with this big plastic tub full of tamales. He looks over at me and goes, hey, CO, come here. So I go over there. I'm like, you know, what's up, man? How you doing? He looks over at me. You can smell the booze coming off of this guy. He says, it's my birthday. I'm like, oh, well, you know, what do you say to that, right? I'm like, well, happy birthday. I'm trying to lead up to getting these guys to go in, right? But you know, I'm like, happy birthday, right? He's like, today I am 41. And I said, oh man, you're getting old, right? He's about my age. He's a little bit younger than me. I'm like, you're getting old, man. He's like, I know. I have a granddaughter. She's 6. I'm like, okay, you know, that's great. That's awesome, right? So I'm trying to move this conversation in the direction of time to go in. I got other things to do, right? You know, so he's not letting me tell him to go in. No, he keeps talking. He says, you are the best officer here, best officer in the jail. I love you. I'm like, what do you say to that? I'm like, well, thanks. You know, he's got this tub full of tamales. He says, I make a lot of tamales. Many tamales. Have a tamale. I don't know. One, I already ate. We had pizza, and I was stuffed. And two, I don't particularly want a tamale. So I like tamales. They look like they're good tamales. But just, I don't really want a tamale. Imagine why. Anyway, I'm like, oh no, that's all right, man. I already ate. Have a tamale. You can microwave it, eat it later. I'm like, not really, that's okay. He's like, you have to have a tamale. It's from my heart. I'm like, okay. I'm like, so I tell him, hey, I'm not really allowed to take tamales and stuff from you guys. You know, I'm not supposed to, right? Which is kind of true. Nobody's really going to get upset if I take a tamale, but it's technically true. So I'm like, that's an excuse, right? No, he ain't having it, man. He's like, I see you guys. People give you chips and candy bars, and you take them. Take a tamale. So I'm like, dude, some people, the inmates give them chips. some of the officers and whatnot. I don't, right? I don't. I can't. He's like, I know why you don't want tamale. It's because I make it with my hands. You think I'm dirty. You don't trust me. I don't do anything bad to your tamale. I make tamale from my heart. You take a tamale. I mean, this dude's starting to get weepy. So I'm like, okay, I'm stuck. I'm like, okay, man, I take a tamale. I'll eat it later. He's like, good. I make it from the heart. For you. I love you. I'm like, okay. All right, so now I got the tamale. I figure, okay, now I can shuffle these guys off, to where they're supposed to go. It's time to go in. And, but that's not the case. Then he comes in with, my grandpa died. I'm like, okay, this is taking a dark turn. He's like, he was 101. And he died. I'm like, oh, wow. He lived a long life. I'm like, yeah, it sounds like he lived a long life. I'm sorry he died, but, he had a lot of years. He's like, yeah, he lived a long time. In 2022, my uncle died. I'm like, okay, this is good. At this point, I just want to have this conversation. I don't even care if they lock in. We can just leave them in the rec hall. I just want to get out. I want to go do something else. And he's like, and then my cousin, he died. And he spends the next 10 minutes going through relatives that have all died in the last 2 years. And it is sad. It is. But honestly, I got other things to do with it. Really, at this point, I'm late. I'm late doing things. I look over and the other two, yokels that I work with are standing over by the slider outside the rec hall just watching this. Not helping me, not intervening, not, nothing. Just letting me go through this and standing there chuckling. Right? So, thanks, guys. So, anyway, and then he starts getting, and then it gets really, it goes downhill from here, man. He says, my little brother, he's 29. He wants to come to the U.S. He tells me he is gay. I'm like, okay, this is okay. I'm getting the impression he doesn't like that he's gay, right? He loves his brother, doesn't like the gayness. So he's like, he says he's gay. He wants to come here. But he says he's gay. It's hurt my heart. And then he starts crying. I mean, like tears. He goes on about his emotions about this, revelation for a little while, right? This is incredibly uncomfortable now, right? Because here I'm in a rec hall surrounded by a bunch of drunk gangbangers, and this guy's crying, like literally has his hand on my shoulder crying on me over this. I'm like, what? How exactly do I get out of this now? I'm like, this guy ain't going to stop talking. It's obvious. This is going to continue for a while, right? He's telling me he is so confused. I give you his number. You call him. I'm thinking, oh God, no, I can't do that, nor do I really particularly want to. But, okay, so now I'm just trying to figure out how to extricate myself. This is still going on for a while, right? So finally, I'm like, dude, really, we're at the point now where we have to do other things before we can do other things after that. And it's running late. I'm like, dude, really, I got to go. You guys have a good time. You party. They look like good tamales. You guys have a good time. I got to go do that. So finally, it's like, okay. So I head out of the rec hall. We go off and do our other thing. They close the rec door, and they've got us just in there doing their thing, having a good time, whatever. At this point, we'll get them in when we get them in. It's not that important. So, we get all our stuff done. Eventually, we elicit some help from some of their friends to, usher them gently into their cells. And we get them there, right? Of course, I'm not trying to get all aggressive about this whole thing. They're not being aggressive with me. I don't want to be aggressive with them. Plus, I mean, they are celebrating. Whatever. We're all human. We get them in gently, quietly, without problems. That's the whole. That's the goal. And I'm thinking, man, I'm gonna have to count this tier. Here, in a little while, I gotta go down. I gotta, look, got my flashlight, look in each cell, make sure the people are there that are supposed to be there, right? And that we have all the right people in the right places. And I'm thinking, man, this guy, I think I'm gonna kind of hustle by his cell. I saw him and his buddy go in. I know they're in there. I know they're alive, but I don't want to shine my light in there and wake them up because they might want to talk to me some more, and I don't want that. So I'm going down there, end of the night, and I can see him. I'm like 2 cells down, I can see him, right? It's a steel door with a window in it for me to look in, and he's laying up against the window like standing there. He's waiting on me. I know he is. Right? But he looks like he's out. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to hustle by that door, and as I hustle by, I see the eyes come open. I'm like, oh, great, he saw me, right? But I got past. So I got to go down and then go back down the other side. So when I get across from him, I hear that tapping on the window. I look. He goes, CO, come here. So I go over, right? And of course, it's hard to talk through a window, but the side of the door, there's like a crack there where the door meets the wall. So I'd kind of stick my ear against it. I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? And you can smell the booze like coming through there. You can smell it through the door. And of course, what does he say? Did you eat the tamale? I didn't, but what am I going to do? I'm like, yeah, man. Yeah, I ate the tamale. It's good tamale. I'm like, yeah, man. It was awesome. It was a good tamale. Yeah. A good tamale. Right? Repeats that a couple times. It's good tamale. And he says, I love you, man. I love you. I'm like, well, thank you, but I gotta finish counting. I gotta get that done. And he's like, okay. So yeah, that ends the tamale incident, but thought you guys might find that to be a rather humorous story. I found it humorous, even as it was happening. I was trying not to laugh through a lot of it, but and of course I was being laughed at by the chuckleheads that I work with. Those guys all thought, my uncomfortableness in the rec hall was very funny. But hey, things like this happen sometimes. That's not what you normally think of as prison, but it is. But yes, MS-13 gave me a tamale. And I gave the tamale to the laundry worker on the other tier. What else am I going to do with it, really? But hey, they did look good. Good for them. Yeah, they had them a nice celebration, and I really hope that they don't do it again the next day, because. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my little story, and I might tell stories like this more in the future if you guys like these types of my thoughts or experiences in the world. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I love you guys. Hey man, tamales and booze sound pretty good. I might go to the Mexican restaurant later and get some beer and tamales, because that does sound pretty good. That's a good way to celebrate. I do like me a good tamale. All right, I love you guys. Peace out, baby. Bye-bye.